When you're asked about your brand, what do you say? Most founders and entrepreneurs resort to their elevator pitch, or they're going to tell the customer how good they are at solving a particular problem, or how many reviews they've received on their website. What if I told you you were doing this wrong? What if I told you there was a better framework that was discovered almost 70 years ago that is going to be able to hook your customer the minute you start talking? Let's get started. Whether you're writing copy for your website or you're writing copy for your brochure, the question that you really need to answer is not how good you're at something, but how do you create that connection with your customer? We are the best at X or we are the best at Y doesn't really cut it. What connects us to our customers are stories, and stories have connected humans for centuries, and yet when we talk to our customers, we seldom talk in story. Today's video is about a framework that was invented by Joseph Campbell in the 1940s called the Hero's Journey. And the hero's journey is a very powerful framework that you can use to talk to your customer in story and get them hooked from the minute you start telling the story. Let's talk about the elements of the hero's journey. Every great story has universal elements like the hero, the guide, the challenge, and the resolution. And this is true in business as much as it is in the movies. Stories are really what connect humans to humans. And as Park Howell says it, our brain can last only 30 seconds without creating meaning. Our subconscious mind constantly seeks context with curiosity. You can create that curiosity and context with a good story. So what are the elements of a good story? The first one is the hook, the promise. Now, if you've read a good book or if you've watched a good movie, you've already been introduced to a good hook. The hook is required because you need to allow your customer base to create a reason to listen to your story. And a good hook can do just that. In this case, as in this video, my hook was to get you to understand how to tell a better story. The second element of a good story is the hero. When I say hero, I'm talking about Luke Skywalker in Star Wars. I'm talking about Christian Bale in Batman. And I'm talking about Katniss in Hunger Games. But here's the catch. In your business story, who do you think the hero is? It's not you, nor is it your brand. It's your customer. And I know this may sound disappointing, but work with me here for a minute. You want your customer to listen to your business story. And to do that, they need to create meaning. They need to create context. That requires them to picture themselves in this story. And you want them to be the hero because that will allow them to immerse themselves in this story. A good example of this is Facebook. If you looked at Facebook, Mark Zuckerberg makes you and I the hero of the product. Because whenever you open Facebook, it's all about you and your friends and the timelines we all create within Facebook. A very powerful example of how a brand as big as Facebook uses you and I as the heroes of its story. The next important part of the story is the problem. A problem is what the customer needs to solve at the moment. Your hero needs to solve at the moment. So if they're looking to buy a property, they're going to go talk to a real estate agent. If they're looking to get a mortgage, they're going to talk to a mortgage specialist because they need to solve that problem. A good problem is defined by the gap of where the customer is and where they need to get to. That's why in your business story, you need to clearly identify that problem and show them how you can solve it. Which brings us to the next important element of the brand story, the guide. Now, when I'm saying guide, I want you to picture Obi-Wan Kenobi from Star Wars. I want you to picture Dumbledore. I want you to picture Gandalf. All of these were amazing guides who helped their heroes get from where they were to where they wanted to be. And in this case, your brand is going to be that guide. Your brand is going to be the reason for getting the hero from what they're struggling with to what they want to get. And the other key thing that you need to remember is the guide can very easily be misconstrued as the villain, as a sleazy salesperson. What you really want to showcase is the length and the breadth of your expertise and how it can help your customer solve their own problem. That's what they are looking for. They're looking for that connection. And while we say business is either business to business or business to consumer, in reality, business is human to human. To be able to help your hero, you need to get your hero to trust you. So being a guide requires two very key things. One, the ability to solve their problem, and B, to get your hero to trust you. The next element of your brand story is going to be your guide strategy, an easy framework to solve their problem. And this could be any product or service that you're selling. Remember, it needs to be easy for them to be able to understand how it solves their problem. But if it's easy enough, then they've got it right away. And you've got a good guide strategy. And this is also probably the reason why you're in business. You started your business in effect to solve this very problem for your very customer using this particular product or service. For example, at Cloudscape, we help our customers solve problems related to technology technology implementation, because it's very hard for them to manage a project and implement their own inventory management solution, which is what we do at Cloudscape. And here at Elevated Entrepreneur, I coach business owners and founders to elevate mindset and habits, because most entrepreneurs have terrible habits. So that's the problem that I'm keen to solve for my customers. And I encourage you to think about what is the problem and what is the framework that you're going to sell to help them solve their problem. The next element is an exciting call to action. Now, while your customer has a problem and they've seen you as their guide, you need to take them on this adventure so that you can solve this problem for them. And that requires a call to action. It requires for you to be very clear to your customer why they need to come on this adventure with you. And that could be a free downloadable, it could be a knowledge sharing session, it could be a workshop that you offer, whatever that may be. A good call to action allows you to entice your customer to coming on this adventure with you. A good example of a call to action is what you see on landing pages. A landing page is very concise in what it can offer and how you can get the customer to convert. And that typically is done through a call to action button. Whether they're signing up for your newsletter or they're signing up for a class, it doesn't really matter. It's very clear and concise. So remember, an enticing call to action is very important. The last element that you need in your brand story is a successful resolution. So we've gone and talked about the hero, the guide, the problem, the call to action, and now you need to deliver. You need to deliver your product and service so that it actually solves the problem for the hero. You need to remind them about the benefits of this product and service that you're selling them. The last element of a good brand story is a successful conclusion. I'm not necessarily talking about ending the sale or going into sales mode. This is where you're telling the customer why they should purchase your product or service. And remember, the story needs to end similar to how it started, with the focus being the hero and the hero's problem and how your product and service can solve that problem for your hero. A really good example of this is Amazon's one-click purchase service. So when you go to Amazon, they make it really easy for you to complete that purchase with that one-click buy option. That's an example of a great successful conclusion. So those are the 7 elements of a great brand story. The next time you're working on your website, your sales brochure, or you're just having a conversation with your customer, remember to talk in story. Show them that they are the hero and that you're the guide, that your product and service can get them to a place of ease, to a place of gain. If you like this video, give me a thumbs up or hit that subscribe button down there and tell me in the comments which was your favorite part of this hero's journey story.